Steve, over to you now with the Times. And imagine, if you will, a world in which the government had to pay science fiction writers to imagine possible futuristic scenarios that they should plan for.
You don't have to imagine it because it's real. This isn't a Twilight Zone. Yes, sci-fi writers have been drafted in by the Ministry of Defence to imagine Third World War. They came up with 8 stories.
Crazy!
Bad, yeah. I mean, this is their science and technology laboratory. As they got a pair of writers in for 8 futuristic visions of the world, including cyborg soldiers, post-petroleum war. It's a jolly. They've somehow used our money to commission their own Netflix miniseries.
It's fantastic. I have nothing but respect for the writers who managed to worm their way into this scenario. Yeah. It's a nice little... Do we have their names, incidentally, or any of the books they've written?
I can give you some of the actual names of the
writers. Yeah, I couldn't find them in the course of the story. I had to look through and I couldn't find them. But anyway.
But it goes through some of the stories that they've written for them. I mean, look, sci-fi writers do get stuff right. And the point of this is the guesswork, which is what it is, of sci-fi writers. Sometimes it's on the money. Famously, Arthur C. Clarke gave us geostationary satellites.
Yes.
Someone else had to do the trickier bit of building one.
I think he had a pretty good idea of the internet about 20 years before David Bowie, even.
But also at the same But at the same time, they've also guessed loads of stuff that's wrong. I remember watching Tomorrow's World in the 80s, where they had robots playing snooker, and yet somehow 2023, and I'm playing it manually like a caveman.
Well, famously, there was the other one about computers will change everything, and in the next 10 years, there'll probably be one in every town.
Yeah, a huge one every town.
Miniaturisation is the thing that got away from them in that period. But my point with this is, you don't need to pay them. There are already thousands of books which imagine scenarios which it would be perfectly useful and plausible and a good use of the government's or a department's time to sort of, comb through and just...
But their brief was to be more realistic than just writing, which includes one with these British troops that wear armours containing drugs to enhance their performance, allowing them to skate at 30 miles an hour and have contact lenses that flash up messages from teammates. I thought you were saying be realistic.
And then
Why
they use that story.
On ice?
They have that story, and then the punchline is that they have, like, the World War I football match at the end of it or something, and they all sit down and have a nice... Do you think sci-fi holds the answer?
No.
I think it can. I think it can provoke and trigger interesting conversations. And I don't think it's a bad idea to have writers. There's a place called the Santa Fe Institute, which it's been my dream, like, retirement plan. It's basically it's like a university, but it's all coffee shops essentially. There's no labs. It's just people hanging out and chatting and talking. And a writer called Cormac McCarthy, do you know him? He wrote The Road and a number of quite grisly westerns. He was their writer in residence for a number of years there. He became fascinated by such things as why dreams can reveal truths that are hidden from you yourself. Why would your subconscious hide something and then reveal it to you in a dream, which has happened in scientific inquiry and stuff. So anyway, he was quite a useful... I think, a benign presence. I think there's something to it. But this feels a little bit, I don't know...
Doesn't need to be funded, does it? The MoD don't need to do it. I'm sure they've got other stuff to be paying attention to.